What's good people, it's Kay, and today we're reacting to RWBY Volume 8, Chapter 7. I haven't even seen this episode, and I'm dreading having to sit through the next 6 weeks without a conclusion, because I just know it's going to be some bullshit cliffhanger. It's too early in the morning for this. What have I done to myself? But I have my tea, so we'll be alright. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Bringing out the forces. Bringing out the front lines. Yeah, that's not what you want to see. Giving it a bit more welly. I mean, this ain't it. Penny for your thoughts?
Yes, sir.
I am
My
evacuating
dude.
all citizens to the subway. Prepare Manta Squad Omega and dispatch to every part of Atlas.
But, sir.
Now!
Citizens of Atlas, please proceed to the nearest underground subway stations for shelter.
They're really just chilling. This is not sound crisis management, I must say.
We need to go!
Need to up your upper body strength, my guy.
The generators took too much damage! Then don't waste resources on them. Beta Squad, the creature.
We tried bombs.
They really arrest
We
those.
can't take a dent, sir.
Sir,
What the hell?
She here. Penny is still MIA, but we've apprehended Ark, Xiaolong, and Ren.
Stand by for further orders, and don't let those fugitives out of your sight.
Yes, sir. Of
I
course.
can't be bothered.
Still just following orders.
I can't be bothered. Bruh.
That's where the Grimm took Oscar. It's even bigger than I thought.
Grimm don't take prisoners.
This one did. If you would just let us go.
Ceasefire. Manta Squads, concentrate on secondary hostiles. Command is working on a solution for the creature.
What do you have in mind, sir?
We aren't making any progress attacking the thing from the outside. But from the inside, it could be vulnerable.
Ooh.
Science team is putting together a bomb. When it's ready, we'll drop it off as close to the target as possible. Then your team will deliver it on foot. Sending you rendezvous coordinates now.
Of course, sir. We will hold the point and we will get it done.
But Oscar's in there.
You can't do this!
Ah, yes. Ah, so it's inside the whale. I love that they was treating her like a conductor of the Grand Symphony. Oh, hello again. Good to see you. How you doing? And he's still getting thumped on.
That stunt you pulled, she'd have killed you if you didn't just pop up somewhere else. Still, you can make things easier on yourself if you start telling the truth.
You've never wondered why she recruited you. You, specifically.
Here we
to help
go.
her find the relics.
We share a vision. She's gonna create a new world order. No kingdoms, And no Huntsman Academies.
New World Order. No. When Salem gets all 4 relics, there will be no worlds left at all. Don't you get it? She's been alive longer than you can comprehend. All she craves now is release. Death.
Stop lying! Salem can't be killed. When she came for me, I killed her over and over again.
Really?
The longest she was gone was only a few hours.
Huh.
Before she put herself back together. When I couldn't lift my arms anymore, she showed me that through her, I could have the vengeance I needed.
Oh, Hazel. Don't you see that is why she came for you? Because she could make you believe that this is what you needed?
This is what you deserve!
Yes! But Oscar, the people of Atlas, Remnant, you haven't done what you've done for justice. You've done it for yourself. Because she pushed you to think it would help you. Well, has it?
That was nice. It's nice work from Oscar Pinma.
Now what am I good for?
Nora, I'm surprised you're even conscious, so just chill.
How is she?
I've done what I can, but she needs a doctor.
Hopefully May's able to reach the others. I really hope they're okay. Salem's monster is making Grimm faster than the Atlas military can kill them. The city won't stand a chance unless we stop it.
It's massive. Way bigger than a Leviathan. What can we even do?
Penny launched Amity, and our message went out. Do we just wait for someone to come?
Well,
If they even come.
don't know that you can take that gamble.
How did it all get like this?
Fiona said your
Very
friends
good
haven't
question.
been heard from in a while. Unfortunately, the last thing they're worried about is a couple of kids. Come on, I've got the ship ready to head back in.
What? We can't leave.
It's chaos at the crater. Atlas has its army, but Mantle only has us.
Yep,
People are dying.
yep, what was I saying?
People are dying here too. Don't you have family in Atlas?
No. Mantle needed me. And to the Marigolds, that meant I wasn't their son anymore. And I made sure that everyone knew that I wasn't their daughter. So forget them. They've got Henry, yours have Whitley.
Henry.
You get what I'm saying.
Remember him?
I don't know.
That's what I was
Which
thinking.
side are you on, anyway?
We've heard that before.
There are no sides. We want to help everyone. We're all facing Salem together. And together is the only way we're going to get out of it.
Thank you, Blake and Ruby.
So how exactly do we get out of it?
So long as this world turns, you shall walk its face. That was the curse cast upon her. But if Salem can divide humanity beyond repair,
Telling the
bring
story.
all 4 relics back together, she believes that maybe their curse will be broken. The
So-
gods will rule against us.
Is that what she really
Destroy
thinks?
Remnant, once and for all.
Nice story. But if Gretchen's death taught me one thing, it was never to trust you.
Please, let me.
But Oscar...
You want him to trust us, and trust me. Her name is Jin.
Oh,
Want her to come out of the lamp? Just say her name. She can still answer one more question.
After all that, you're just going to give Salem the password?
No. I'm
he's still
giving
putting
you the
hands on
password,
me, bruh.
and hoping you'll find the truth for yourself.
Huh. Interesting. Interesting gambit.
He's a prisoner, Em. He'll say what he thinks will get him out.
So you're still going to Vacuo? After what I just told you?
Those are Salem's new orders. And I know better than to disobey Salem.
Going to vacuo.
Look, even if what he said was true, we can't stop Salem. You told me yourself. Hazel tried. He failed, and he got in line. Big guy's not gonna pick fights he can't win. Neither should we. And all of this is pointless anyway. Salem's not ending the world.
Of course she is. You're surprised? Salem is destruction incarnate.
Yeah.
Our mistress wishes to see the end of it all. There is no
Look at him.
ideal more beautiful. If you couldn't see that from the start, you must be out of your mind. Now,
Yes,
come
very,
along, Mr. Bly.
very droll.
You and I have a date with the desert.
We're just rolling on to the next. So we're not gonna get Tyrion fighting Crow again, or no, just not being involved. Is that goodbye? Is that farewell? Let me know.
You can't blow it up with Oscar still in there.
That creature causes more damage every minute. We cannot wait.
Please, Winter, give us a chance to try to rescue him first. We could be your test run.
Test run.
You don't know what'll be waiting for you inside, right? So we can go ahead to check it out. And look for Oscar while we're inside.
You want to go inside that thing alone?
Wouldn't you do it for Elm? Harriet? Vine?
I know, would they?
We don't let feelings get in the way of making the right call. Trading 3 lives for 1 is stupid.
No, it's not. He's our friend.
Tell him, Ren.
We will
Tell
do
him.
whatever it takes to find him. Because we care about him.
Go on, Ren. Have that determination.
I really had you pegged as the most level-headed of the bunch, but I guess you're just as naive. Feelings don't matter. The job matters. When you lose someone on your team, you move on. Replace them. Like Marrow replaced Tortuga, and Winter replaced...
No! No one is replaceable.
Oh. What's he saying?
You don't really believe that. You are furious about losing Clover. And you miss him.
You don't know anything
Tell her.
about me!
Tell her, Ren. You can see it. Wow, that's cool.
That's why you lost against Team RWBY. You try to fight how you feel about each other.
Yo.
So you'll never truly work as a team.
Shut up! You don't know what you're talking about! Everyone calm down.
Ren. A man seeing the Matrix. That's so cool.
Fine. We will drop you as close as we can to the monster.
You can't be
Okay.
serious. They're fugitives and traitors!
I outrank you.
Tell her. Sit
For
down.
one time, we drop the payload. No matter what.
We understand.
Check out Shaw coming in with the plans.
You don't like this either. In fact, you don't want to be a part of it at all anymore.
I have a job to do, and I'm going to do it.
I know you don't either.
She's just a mess. You know, it's
Oh, wait! What about
Just a
Crow and
mess.
Robin? Well, maybe if we get them out of wherever they're being held, they could...
No, see, you just don't get it. This is not a situation where everyone wins. Now you all can come with me to help in Mantle,
Ain't
or
that
I
the
can
truth?
drop you off near the front lines if you still want to help Atlas. Your uncle and Robin can't save us. We have to choose. So choose.
who is it? Oh.
Miss Snee, I heard there was a patient here who needed my help.
I am so sorry,
How about
Klein.
that?
It's my fault that Father...
Please don't worry, my snowflake. It had nothing to do with you.
And everything to do with Jacques.
Well, that's sweet of you. But wait, how did you know...
Ah, young Whitley, I'm so glad that you rang. May I please see the patient? I understand it's urgent.
Your boy came through.
She's in Weiss's room. Just go up there.
I haven't been gone that long, Master Whitley. I believe I can find it.
Look at that.
You
being helpful.
called Klein.
Contributing.
That girl needs a doctor. I didn't do it for you.
I know.
Huh.
That's why it means so much to me.
Aww. Aww. Sibling hug.
Did you call anyone else?
I'll say it again. Who is it? What fresh hell is this? She landed here?
I'm sorry.
She landed here? Of all places? Yo. And that's how it's gonna end. Until freaking February. Wow. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. Okay. Okay, I see. I see. I don't see. I don't see. No. You know, I think the only thing I'm really surprised by is just how optimistic this episode was. So rather than any one character, we're going to use this in-depth to talk about Crisis. And I mean Crisis like bad shit happening, not Crisis the game franchise. But it is an interesting question. Can my system run Crisis? Probably not. I mean, my system can barely run OBS. The reason I'm focusing on Crisis is because first, this episode is just so spread out that it's hard to focus on any one or two characters in particular. Second, when I do, the first character that comes to my mind is Hazel, and I'm not really interested in discussing him for this segment. But when I think about this episode as a whole, I can see that Crisis is the state which links all these stories together, and that this is an episode about the different ways through which we handle Crisis. Say it with me, the choices we make. We can go in any direction you want, but the thread of the Atlas arc is always going to come back to choice. And I guess that's why I'm a little surprised at just how positive this episode is, despite the circumstances. You know, between each of the stories we visited in this episode, and all of the choices posed to the different groups of characters, the only one left hanging on indecision was Ruby's group, and fate may have spoken for them, what with a certain someone's crash landing outside the Schnee Manor's front door. But elsewhere, we saw action being taken. Now, I'm someone who views any action as being positive, as it provides momentum and direction and energy to the story. And I was saying last episode that it was hard to see what Ironwood and friends would do in the face of Salem's Landing. Yet, here we are, with Ironwood setting up his counterattack. Now, you can quibble with the merits of the idea, and on its face, I don't actually see a whole lot wrong with the idea of planting a bomb inside the whale, aside from the whole Oscar thing, of course. But going into this, I was far more concerned that he would just be paralyzed and not know what to do at all. So to see him taking some form of action in this situation is absolutely a net positive for me. Now, there is still time in the season, and there is every chance that we'll come back after hiatus and we'll be shivering in a corner somewhere. But for right now, I'm pleased to see him doing something rather than nothing. On the other hand, I urge you to imagine the carnage after the bomb goes off inside the whale. Can you picture it in your mind? Is it really vivid? Now, that image is basically the best shorthand I can use to describe Ironwood's handling of the Atlas evacuation, and the whole evacuation process in general when you think about the Mantle stuff from last season. Without putting too fine a point on it, I think there's something to be said for how much Ironwood has discarded his humanity and compassion after his fight with Watts. Remember in season 4 of Legend of Korra when Prince Wu stepped up and handled the evacuation of the city by appealing to the public on a human level? It was corny, sure, but look at Ironwood's message and you basically have the inverse. When things descend into the level of chaos that Atlas immediately fell into, then you may want to revise your speech for the next time round, if you're lucky enough to get that chance. But sometimes, managing crisis falls on a smaller scale, and just requires someone to create and recognize even the tiniest of opportunity. I feel like that's what we saw with Oscar and Hazel. I feel like I was on the money in my assessment of Hazel's motivations. His anger is pointed pretty squarely at Oz, and Salem just provided him with the means to channel his anger. His attachment to her beyond that compromise is based entirely on the premise that she is inevitable. He doesn't have the same loyalty to her that someone like Tyrion does. How many of Salem's crew are that loyal? It honestly might just be Tyrion. And now with Hazel having the seed of doubt in his mind, and Emerald basically looking for any excuse to get both herself and Cinder up out of there. I mean, the Ozzers were pretty smart to latch onto that thread, even if it has cost Oscar a lot of his youthful vigor. And lastly, there are times when we face an emotional crisis. And I think that's what we saw with Winter, doing her best to simultaneously maintain control under pressure without entirely forsaking the conflicting feelings she's developed over the course of this arc. And in a way, I feel like of the three I've highlighted in this segment, her situation is the most relatable, and the one I don't have to explain all that much. Who among us hasn't had to confront the unpleasant just to keep a handle on the unraveling rope? All we can do, and all Winter can do, is try.
Got some observations now? Yeah, okay.
This is 2020 in a nutshell. Salem is just the conductor of her own symphony and all of our lives. It's cool to see how the whale works though, that she and her platform are inside its mouth like that, and she can see the outside world basically through its face. Now, I'm disappointed in Emerald high-key. She's not going to make any progress with Cinder if she's not by her side. I don't think this is one of those distance makes the heart grow fonder sort of relationships, at least not on Cinder's side. It's quite interesting that Hazel tried to kill Salem multiple times in the past, or rather, he succeeded and she just kept regenerating. I'm fascinated to see what the reaction is to May's soliloquy. I have to give her character a shout out, and I have to give Kaden Jensen, her VA, a shout out too. I won't dwell on it too long, as it's a discussion for another video, but I am trans as well, and while I'm still relatively early in my journey, it doesn't take much exposure to learn about the risk and sacrifice that comes with the territory. So what May said about the feeling of not being what your family wanted at a biological human level, it speaks to me. And for the record, my situation is not the same as May's, but I still totally get it. After all, you don't go through these experiences without imagining every possible outcome, and all you can do is bite your lip and hope that your reality is closer to one end of the spectrum than the other. And that feeling, how you react to your family's own negative reaction, can filter through a lens of guilt or anger, depending on who you are. May decided to use her family's feelings as a way to divorce herself from them and light her own path. She decided that it was a better use of her energy to give back to Mantle, to give back to a community which needed her to be 100% of herself. And I admire that, because that decision is never as easy as it sounds. But like I said, it's a topic for a different video, and I just thought this moment deserved to be highlighted. Play the applause. Whitley came through. Good for him. Play that applause again. Yeah. And it's really nice to see Weiss showing him some affection. It's like an element of their childhood that was either lost or totally missing in the first place, just coming to the surface now. What sort of wardrobe is Mercury trying to take to the desert? Is he trying to be like me, rocking sweaters and hoodies and jackets in 40-degree heat? No one should aspire to be like me, especially not someone facing the kind of pressure he'll be facing out in Vacuo. Speaking of which, it's quite a jump to send him and Tyrion away already. It means the switch from Atlas to Vacuo could be a lot quicker than expected. Do we really need another transitional season like Volume 6 if we're already going to be moving pieces around the world this early? It means we're not going to get any closure on Tyrion versus Crow anytime soon either. My dude Mercury just showed up on the giant whale, and now he's basically being sent back to where he came from. If you think about the relative positions of Vacuo, Salem's Domain, and Atlas, think about the wasted hours spent flying on those trips. It would have been a lot more convenient to just leave him back at the castle and have Tyrion pick him up on his way to Vacuo, but hey, gotta be versatile in this game, and at least he's racking up those frequent flyer miles. Now that I'm on the Emerald, Mercury and Tyrion scene, it would be remiss of me to not point out the parallels and callbacks to Season 6, Episode 9. The scene they shared in that episode is especially memorable to me, because it's where I actually started to enjoy Tyrion as a character. The way he schooled Emerald and Mercury in that scene was just delightful. Their scene in this episode won't be as memorable, but it's nice to have, and of course it was incredibly important for Emerald and Mercury to hear what he had to say, just straight up. God, a lot happened in this one. Rand evolved his damn semblance and now he can see people's true emotions, far more useful than Robin's semblance, which requires her to physically hold someone's hand and is no use at all in combat. I don't say that to dump on Robin, but I think of how Ren could use this semblance in combat, to use his opponent's emotion as an indicator of how they're going to attack or defend. And I think this evolution is pretty damn cool. It's a bit weird for him to be going up to people and telling them how they really feel though. If someone did that to me and I didn't know them, that situation would just end badly for everyone involved. It's also like he's going to become the conduit for the writing team, just explaining everyone's emotional motivations to the audience. It's cool in the moment because the Aesops needed to have someone speak the gospel to them, but I would appreciate it if this sort of stuff is kept to a minimum, because it can absolutely hamstring you as a writer if you have a character explaining a bunch of stuff that we can already see. So yeah, it's fine here, but we don't need to see it all the time. And it is cool that he reached this point after coming to terms with his own true feelings and putting them out in the world, like in the 4th episode and in this one. Excuse me for saying this, but it's actually quite helpful that Penny landed in the lap of Ruby's team. It's hard to see what direction their story would have taken if she hadn't. Their scenes had so much indecision and no clear answers. So even though it's going to be fucked up when Penny reboots and they're forced to stop her, I'm pretty satisfied with this being their direction when we come back around. So in closing, in spite of what you might have expected coming in, War is not an episode filled with pain and suffering and wallowing in misery. Rather, this is an episode about pushing through all of those things to make big time decisions, to push back. Because of that, while it is an episode with a lot happening, it also has a lot of positive momentum and a lot of heart. Of course, things are still bad, and the ending leaves you with a sinking feeling that I'm sure will persist over this mid-season hiatus. But the developments of this episode provide a spark to the story that will have me counting down the days until the season resumes. So that's how I'm feeling. Volume 8 is going away for now, but I won't be. I have some stuff planned for this hiatus to keep the channel active, some RWBY related and some not, but mainly I'm looking at all of it as practice. This whole YouTube project is practice for me on a mental and emotional level, and keeping active on the channel is really just going to help me get more and more used to making videos and putting myself out there, both of which I'm still really green at. But that's all. Thanks for watching, and unlike Volume 8, I will see you soon.